Why are you white? Why do you have a beard?
You need to like do the shocker on the plug.
Kicked up on the top. It blew off both his legs.
Oh my god.
Giant firefight. We are in like mass engagement.
Do you think like you're like different afterwards?
Hey, before this starts, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. The love and support and where Say Hi to Eli has already got. It's beyond my wildest expectations of where it is already, and that is all thanks to you all. So just from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so freaking much. Also on the unsub side, next week we should have the messaging of how much we raised. It was a lot, and I'm so stoked to get those checks out. This one, Cappy did amazing, and then we have another amazing guest in the next couple of weeks. Thank you all so freaking much for everything y'all do. Wouldn't have any of this without y'all. We know that. Head over to Pepperbox. You do get a 14-day free trial, and go watch the after show. It is also really long. I wasn't expecting that either. It's like 40 minutes. So thank you all for supporting Pepperbox the way you have. Keep kicking ass, keep taking names. Hi everyone, look, we're back, and we got our boy Cappy is the guest today. Start the episode, say the word.
Hi Eli. I think I heard that's everyone is starting it that way, so I felt like I had to continue that trend.
I love it. This is so different from, I mean, until we're used to like everyone's around the table, and it's like that complete disconnect of, oh, now it's just hang out with, get to know the guests or friends better. And I think that's so far my favorite part of everything.
It feels very intimate to me. It feels like we can kind of really get to know each other uninterrupted. To me, I like it personally.
Dude, I think, and it really shows the trials and tribulations or the struggles, especially getting in this space, but also through life. And it humanizes you guys because like, it's that weird, you're probably the same thing. You actually, before this podcast started, you're like, are you going to ever get interviewed? And I had the rebuttal of like, man, no one wants to hear my shit.
That's not true. Everyone wants to hear your shit. The reason I say that is because I'm looking, I do a little preparation. I'm like, all right, let's see what this podcast is like. And I'm noticing every top comment is, we got to get one where you're interviewed. I'd watch the hell out of that.
But you know the feeling though. It's like,
I know, yeah, because no, I mean, so throughout my whole life, like I have very low self-esteem, I would say, and a lot of times I don't believe in myself, and I'm like, who would want to hear me? Who wants to know about any of this stuff? I know all this stuff already. But like a lot of people don't know. I was going to ask you, you've probably told this story a million times, but I actually, of all the content I've watched, I have not watched the story of how you got the Purple Heart. And like, I'm sure there's thousands of other people who maybe missed that story.
Oh, no
along
shit.
the way. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, fuck.
You probably told it on Odd
I think maybe like it's been brief stories about it, but I mean, even then you're right. With 200 plus episodes at 2 hours a piece.
People probably watch a dozen episodes, but they miss that story.
Yeah. So actually it was mission 2 of Iraq. Like mission 2. So it was a day patrol. Always a great time starting with those. And we were just learning our sector, and also it's that trial through combat of learning why, like, we never took vehicles into past main MSRs after that. It was nope, vehicles are main MSRs. We dismount and we walk in on foot no matter what, because IEDs, and you learn that through that. And as we took doing a dismounted patrol through this is East Rashid, so 4 Corners, in Baghdad. We lived out in sector, so we lived out in a Cobb, and we were just doing a day patrol. Again, it was like mission 2. Dismounted, went forward, and actually, fuck, dude, no shit. Almost. Wait, is this really? I want to say it was May 19th.
Is this the anniversary?
Almost.
Is this
like
the purple anniversary?
Dude, it's almost
like to the day.
Like literally, I think it's almost the Purple Heart anniversary.
Oh,
no
well, shit. Well, we didn't cheers, but cheers to the
buddy.
Purple Heart anniversary.
Holy shit. Fuck. What? I can actually, here, I'll give you exact date. Okay, so the 17th. So 17th is when I got shot. So that is, I'll remember that day. Again, mission 2, 17th of May is when I got my Purple Heart. That was, we were doing a dismounted patrol. God, that was a crazy time. Dismounted, going through, doing a push from, I forget the original MSR into Senators. And we were walking through. We had the strikers in sector though, so we were just like that. Why we learned not to do this. And we were school right here, houses. We cleared some of these houses. It wasn't. It was just showing a presence, essentially knocking on doors, not kicking down doors. When we got to the school, dude pops around with AK, burst fire. One of the rounds kicked off the wall and hit me in my right thigh. And we just returned fire, took a knee. Ennis was right in front of me. I remember Beeson back, and I was walking back firing. And Beeson, like, he's like, watch out. You're getting in my line of fire. And all this is going off. Sergeant Cope, he shot the first MGS striker in Iraq. So that was the 105s or the 110. What did those have?
The 105 millimeter cannon.
Yeah.
On
so
the MGS, yeah.
That was the very first round ever to be fired in Iraq, was here. Like,
it's a miracle it worked.
oh, dude, that dude evaporated.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was too.
Yeah.
His equipment.
What's the thing beyond pink mist?
Yeah.
Dirt. Just dirted him. Just deleted that building.
Fucking deleted. And it was like a wall that was separating. That's what he
Holy
took behind
shit.
cover from. So he's like, sprayed, got hit, we returned fire. He got misted. I and feel pain in my leg. I'm like, what the hell? So like, I just like look down, I see blood. I'm like, oh fuck. Like my biggest fear was bleeding out. Like I was terrified of bleeding out. And like I hit and then I reached further backwards, like fuck. I was like, okay, oh, it didn't. And then I'm like, oh, it's not even that bad, because it went in and stopped. So the round was still in my when I brushed it off, the round actually like went in between my knee pad. So I was like, oh my God. So we pulled back into sector, like, hey, Cuevas is hit. Small tick. And we got into the courtyard. We're looking. I remember Smith going, "What? Hey, free license plate." High five. We joked. Walked around the corner. Cope is like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah." That dude's deleted. Holy shit, bro. You used a 105 on that dude. And we're like, okay, fuck yeah. So then we push. Then we take an RPG as we round the corner, another engagement, take vertical superiority. We're looking for the bad guys. Nothing. We're watching some vehicles moving around. Nothing. Small engagement, but they're just like the squirters thing. And run. We go down, we button hook, or we take a left, go down a little bit, take a left, and now Senators is maybe 3 blocks away, and we take that left. We're walking, little food district, people out. Everyone walks by, sofa's behind me, I walk, striker pulls up onto an intersection, and the sofa walks by. Boom, striker fucking explodes, like IED. Explodes. Goodyear is in the back hatch, fucking, and this is this through the striker hatch, 50 feet. Yeah, like that's
Was a Moscow on the striker?
The striker's fucking gone, and Goodyear, it knocked him up on top. He was standing up. He got kicked up on the top. It blew off both his legs.
Oh my God.
And then Green and a couple of guys, like, they grabbed him. We ran, got vertical superiority on the house. And then we took up there. We're trying to overwatch just to see if anyone comes in, because now it's like, hey, striker doesn't have a rear end, essentially. Like, it fucking shredded. The floor was touching the ceiling on the inside of the striker. Like, opened it up. I actually have photos of
She was made of aluminum. The bottom of the vehicle was garbage.
Yeah, that's why they did the V-hole. Like, the V-holes weren't even a thing at this time.
No, they didn't have the nice seats. It was just,
So, they get Goodyear down, pull him. They load him into the medic medic striker. I forget what those are called. Bruno and who else rode with him? It was Bruno and someone else rode with him. We got Squirrel out the front of that one. He was the one driving. And then we had to hold for a M88 to come and get the striker. It was like not moving and we can't move it. So then we're holding position. Little ticks, nothing bad. I remember mine was a dude kept popping out with his cell phone. Like you see this vehicle, drive, look, go around. I was like, that's fucking weird. Then I was up in like third story, just like position. Dude popped out, popped back in, popped out. Cell phone, pop back in, pop out.
And you're still bleeding meanwhile. You're still. Do you have like a? Did they put gauze or anything?
Mine was again like it was just like just a quick like stick it, good to go, not bleeding out. Like it probably
not like
went
tourniquet.
Yeah, it went like that far in. Like no, I got super fucking lucky. Like it barely went in my thigh. Massive bruise the next day, like wrapped around my entire leg.
A lot of people would have taken that as a ticket home. A lot of people would have been like, see you later, bye. I'm going back to Texas.
Well, you'll get to that story. So it was, that is going on. M88, we're waiting for that exfil, getting that out and clearing the path for the tank to drag it out. Person's popping in and out. I switch from safety to fire. I'm like, okay, they pop out again. This is not a good person. Then little girl pops her head out. I'm like, oh, little girl, you got so fucking lucky right there. Because we're on like elevated, especially on mission 2. And mission 1, we got out with like tinging on the striker. It was like, hey, combat right, or action left, dismount right. It was ping, 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 ping. We're like, oh, this is how this is going to go the entire time. The entire time it's going to be like this. She pops back in. He never pops out. Another vehicle comes around. They don't do anything. We go to exfil. They finally get the vehicle good. As you said, like blood. My pants have a fucking hole in them. They got Goodyear out. They made it back to base. We're exfilling. We hit Senators. And then a giant firefight. We are in like a mass engagement across Senators. Just like they're shooting us, we're shooting at them. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I remember Brown was like, Cuevas, hey, I need comms. I need the radio. He was a FO. So can you set it up on this? Yep. Boom, boom, boom. Knocked it out. Thank God I just trained like the week before on how to actually do that shit. Because, I mean, you probably...
Filling the radio and that is a goddamn nightmare. Yeah. Oh, sometimes they'd be like, I'm like, okay, I should learn how to do this. How you do it? They're like, okay, so you got to lick it and like twirl it around. I'm like, you're joking, right? This is one of those, like, I'm a dumb private. No, they're like, you need to finger fuck that. Is this a curse podcast?
Yeah, a curse. Yeah. He's not joking.
You need to like do the shocker on the plug.
Just to get it to work. And when you're filling a radio, you have to do all the sequence proper. Doesn't fucking work if you don't. So I nailed it first time. Brown's like, holy shit, good job, Cuevas. I'm like, And then we're just in an engagement. We're like, we're shooting 203s. They're shooting at us. We finally get out. We exfil. Finally. This was, I still think it was like 6 to 8 hours, this entire, from like the moment shot to vehicle gets there to vehicle actually gets brought on, out, move. We cleared out that it was blocked. To the main way to get to Senators was blocked. So Cope just used the 105 and blasted the barrier open so we could get through.
So anyone saying that the infantry don't need like a 105 millimeter, because that's what you follow the whole like M10 Booker thing. So the M10 Booker is like the light tank, and that's supposed. So the 105 MGS Striker was canceled. They got rid of it.
I did not know that.
And they wanted to replace it with like the M10 Booker, which is basically a tank with a 105, 105, I believe. Like useful, right? Mm-hmm. Useful to have that.
That was very useful exact moment because he blew the shit out of that, and that's how we got out. Like, we cleared an area with it. It fucking worked, and that's how they got that vehicle out.
You made a route.
Yeah. So we finally get out, firefight, we exfil, boom. They stop engaging after a bit. get back to base. Then I didn't even know. I didn't think I was getting Purple Heart. I went to the wrong. Well, first, no, I went to Charlie Company because they didn't live. I want to say it was Charlie. It was Charlie Company. You guys lived on Falcon, I think. They lived on the FOB where we lived out in Sector in the Cobb.
Yeah, and that's a better aid station. You want to go to the FOB for that level 3 care.
Yeah, like a Cobb is you are out with your company, and that's like a company.
Your platoon medic has his tourniquet and everything he wants to tourniquet. It's
Yeah,
I'm gonna tourniquet.
Yeah. So I go to Charlie Company saying to get my leg looked. I was like, oh fuck, okay. First thing I did, and this is what happened first. We got there, dismounted. We all just went to chow. I wasn't even thinking about my leg. I was fucking hungry, and this is the first hot meal in 20 days. Or not 20 days. Maybe
that's
15.
The most infantry shit I've ever heard. It's I got shot, and I'm thinking about chow.
Dude, and literally walked from there to chow, ate, and I remember sitting down, and Taylor sat down across from me, and we still hadn't had word on Goodyear. Taylor sits down. I'm like, hey, their cycle was they were doing patrols that day. So we'd go first platoon, second platoon, third platoon. Third platoon was patrols. First platoon was, what were they doing? They might have been doing a patrol too, or QRF or something. No, they weren't QRF.
You rotate between the different things. Yeah. With the same.
So they were out for the day, and they backed up, and then Giddings, I want to say it was Giddings, hey, I don't feel good, and they moved forward, and when they got out of the way, the fucking ID exploded, boom,
right where they moved from.
Yeah. So they move, it explodes. It's holy shit, cool. They rotate back to the FOB to eat chow or do something on the FOB. And so they get their hot chow, but they're eating in their striker. So they park the strikers, your little, an Indian wheel, the wagon
cordon, a security.
And not even that, because you're in the FOB.
Oh, okay.
So you're in the FOB, you're chilling.
Yeah,
so they just park the strikers kind of back to back. And it was second or third squad from first platoon. They are eating, Ham's walking, a fucking mortar lands right there. This is after they move their vehicle off that ID. They get back to base, that final destination shit.
Yeah.
So they get back, they're eating, fucking mortar hits directly where the striker is, right in the back, right where the gate has opened. One piece of shrapnel hit Ham in the heart and then peppered the rest of the guys. So Taylor, the guy that just sat next to me, I'm like, hey, what's wrong, man? You look down. He's like, my squad's fucking gone. He says, Ham just got killed. And then 5 or 6 of the guys got sent home because they're just fucking peppered with shrapnel from that one mortar. And that was mission 2, and then all in the one day. And then we get word, hey, Goodyear's dead. So I'm like, holy fuck. What the f-? We walk back. We go to the tents where Charlie Company is. I go, oh fuck, my leg. They're like, yeah, you need to go check that out, Quavis. I'm like, fuck. So I go in, and I remember talking to the medics, and I was like, hey, I need my leg down. Who are you with? I was like, I'm with Bravo Company. Then get your fucking medic check out. I was like, no, he's gone. He's busy. And they're like, well, what the fuck? Why are you bugging us? Why just go to the fucking, what, is your stomach hurt? I was like, no, I was shot in the leg. And they're like, oh my God, I am so sorry. Holy shit, what the fuck, dude? Come here. They're like, you need to go to the doctor, the aid station. I was like, oh, okay. So go to the aid station. It wasn't my battalions, it wasn't my company. So when I went, got checked out, they cut open the pants, they did all the stuff, bandage, blah, blah, boom, and mark it. I was on mission the next day because I didn't go to my battalion's thing, so I had no time off. I remember that next day, I had a massive bruise. They were saying, hey, we just lost 2 dudes. We'll have a day off. We'll have a rest cycle because of this. And then I think 2 hours later, it was like, hey, sorry, we have a mission. We have to go. So I got in. Ennis went to step over me, and then he put his hand on my leg to step over me. I was like, dude, fuck. And he's like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I forgot. But that was the tempo the entire fucking time is like, hey, you lost Goodyear and Ham on that day. And it's two so fucking far apart. You're talking like 10-minute drive from each other. And then you still lose 2 guys, and then also you get 5 to 6 guys sent back to the States.
Oh my God.
And it's, hey, this is what you're expecting the entire deployment.
Do you think like you're like different afterwards? Did that shit mess with you? Did that like really mess with your head? Because I know some people will see the most horrific stuff and then totally be fine, and then other people will, like, you see a little bit of blood or whatever and it like really messes with them. What do you feel like you're like what difference between the two?
Dude, that's where I don't know how you interpret stuff. It's my mindset is very different on like, I always thought I was just desensitized through a lot of stuff. I was like, oh, maybe it just didn't affect me, because I did get to watch how it affected my friends, especially the rest of that deployment.
You were saying it's like 30 people killed themselves.
Yeah, we're 29 since we've been back, and we lost 16 over there. We had like 42 Purple Hearts, I think, in my battalion.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, man, maybe this really did fuck with people. But also I did do therapy. I read, I made sure I was like, oh, I have to dig deep and figure this stuff out so I can help myself and then help my friends that maybe are having these different thoughts on how to approach it. Never had that, oh, I'm going to take my life. Mine was just, I was indifferent to being alive or not. It was just an indifference. I just didn't care. And I was like, oh, it's probably not a healthy mindset. So what can I do? And then learned about hypervigilance.
It's, yeah, your brain is just wired differently because it's just soaked in the adrenaline. It's just soaked in, it's like a drug. It's like your brain just soaked in that drug for however long, and it like changes the way you're kind of wired after that. And it's also hard to tell if you're different or not, because I don't know about you, but I was 19 when I was over there.
Yep.
And my tour was not nearly anything like that. And still, though, we lost a guy in my company. He was shot in the head. We had IED attacks all over our AO, and it puts you on that higher level of like alert constantly. And just that does something to you, and it's not clear what it is, because you're like, when you're 19, you're changing every day anyway. Like who you are at 19 is changing every day. Now I'm 35, like I change maybe every 2 years.
Yeah, like, it slows down a lot.
Right. So, and like I went through the similar thoughts of like not caring if you're alive or dead. Like kind of had a death wish to begin with, to want to go over there. And now have more perspective on it and can digest those thoughts more easily, and no longer want, like, now I care if I live or die. I have a reason and purpose, and finding those things were key, because without it for many years, like the way I dealt with those thoughts and things was like, I'll just I'll get high as fuck.
Yeah,
I'll
fine.
do
I can sleep this
all
way.
of the drugs, because it just filled that gap, and nothing really can equate to being deployed and that purpose, other than like something really intense and crazy and stupid, like doing something really dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's how you cope, or you're like, that's why people turn to alcohol or that stuff. And hypervigilance, if you don't know, you can't, you're not broken. It is hypervigilance. Once that is installed and you're dealing with it daily, because as you're saying, you're just always on edge, because that is how you survive. You cannot turn it off. That's what the doctor, my therapist, was like, oh yeah, or psychologist was, yeah, once that's there, that your brain can't just switch it off. You have to manage it. You learn to live with it.
That's a good way of thinking about it. Is it's like a software that's installed, Okay, now you got this software. Like what? So what I did with
Bro, can I roll back my update though? Like I liked, dude. 0.9 was sweet. 1.2 sucks. Dick.
this isn't Linux. This is Windows, bro. You are
Stuck.
in it. So yeah, like,
Reset. No.
nope. There's no rolling this back. Welcome to hell. No, what I did. Oh my goodness. So a lot of people ask me like, how do you do like YouTube? How do you like figure this stuff out? And a big part of it for me, I think, is I turned that hypervigilance on. I weaponized it towards YouTube. I was like, I'm going to be obsessed with the analytics. I'm going to be obsessed with figuring out how to improve YouTube videos. And like, I can channel all of my energy and misplaced just everything on YouTube. And all of my like addictive traits and personalities, I just shoved it into. I was like, this is something constructive that I can be addictive about. It's like I'll just do that.
And it's good though. Like I think you found a really good like outreach for it, or a good something to turn it into, because with it, like saying it's like, oh, I can't turn off hypervigilance, but you can manage it and you figure out ways to make you comfortable with it. Mine is like locking the doors. I have my system where it's like, oh, I'll always lock any door. I'm like, even in my bedroom doors are locked when I'm going to bed. I have like this is what I'm going to do every time. I carry my firearm almost everywhere I go, for just in case. It just makes me feel relaxed when I have that. I'm like, okay. And then wiring that brain of like, hey, like, everything's fine. Like, you're okay. Yes, I'm going to be like, okay, out, exit plan, all these little things, and then dial in any anger or anything like that. It's like, okay, all this is manageable. And then the best part of that therapy and those experiences was outlook on life. And we're going to get into that. You have such a different view when you experience that, or you see an actual third world country, or you deal with war. You realize how good we have it here, because a lot of people take for granted of how we have it. And then you look at, it motivates you too. You can turn it into a motivator where it's like, man, like I was doing that shit. I was dealing with war, death. And now I have this second chance and I can do something amazing with it. I can help people and I can really make a difference by focusing all that negativity, all that like, what do I do with my hypervigilance? But also, what are the goods I took? Oh, leadership, and like shit's not too bad. I don't know if you do it, but I'm like, I'm not getting shot at, and it's not 120 degrees. Life's pretty fucking dope.
Yes.
So managing stress,
yeah, all the time. It gives you great perspective, and what you're talking about is very difficult to do, because a lot of times you can also go the other way and start thinking, it's very easy to start thinking like survivor's guilt and feel like bad for yourself, and you can go down that route too. It's very easy to kind of go that way, and it's not obvious that you would just like, I'm going to be constructive about this. And war, the thing I think that draws me so much to war is that it is the extremes of human nature. You will see human beings at their absolute best. You will see people helping other people, and the most selfless, like sacrificial acts that don't make sense in terms of saving. Like, if you have self-preservation, but people will do it not even just for their family, but for people that they just care about, people that they don't even know. They'll go out on a limb to do things that you just wouldn't expect to see of people, and it restores my faith in humanity. And then at the same time, you could be in the same situation and look slightly to the right and see the absolute worst side of humanity, the side of human beings that make you believe in the devil. Like, just you're like, there's nothing redeemable in human beings. So I think that kind of extremes draws me to it, because I don't know where else you really see that on full display.
No. Yeah, I mean, that's beautifully said. It is like Clint Romachet, and even Saul, like I'm so honored to call those guys friends. A Medal of Honor and what they did, and you meet them, they're regular fucking dudes. They're happy-go-lucky. Like Saul, I don't even know if he cusses. I remember he was like, "That's heckin' awesome." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Bro, you don't even cuss." And I love the dude. And Romachet is just this regular dude, but then you read their stories and you see what they went through, what they did for their brothers, and you're like, damn, dude, I don't even know if would I have stepped up in that situation? What would I have done? Fuck. And that's what's wild about it. You're like, it's a loss of words when you see that level of dedication to it, or brotherhood. And going back to like even the survivor's guilt, that's one of those things I think that's really hard for people. And it's a really weird thing to think about. It is you feel bad. Why are you lucky to come home? Why are you the one? And that can be really difficult for people to internalize and then deal with. And I say it like this. It's like, don't look at it as your buddies wouldn't want you depressed about their death. They wouldn't want you beating yourself up about it. And that's why I look at all aspects of life with death. It is, man, do you think they would want you beating yourself up, or do you think they would want you to be like kicking ass and taking names in life? And that's how I started living.
Dude, that's exactly the mindset that I finally came to after like years of self-destructive behavior, or what do you call it? Like, self-destructive behavior, that I was like, you know what? We owe it, actually, when you think about it, we owe it to the people that aren't here, that can't be here. It was part of the reason why like I took that chance to go on my own and to start my own channel. I was like, I owe it to the people that can't take these chances, that'll never have these years in their life to take these type of opportunities. Like, I'm so lucky, and I owe it to people who don't have that opportunity anymore. And like, I'm going to take these chances. I'm going to live this life to the absolute fullest that I possibly can. And like, anything short of that is doing them a disservice, doing everybody a disservice. And if I go and like kill myself, that's the ultimate disservice. And, you know, I understand why people do that. And I feel awful for people who do that. I'm not making a comment against them. I'm just saying that like doing that is, I came
it's doing
to
a
real
disservice.
Yeah, it is.
It's a hard one because you do have that. Man, Dan Holloway, he is, I think, one of my favorite sayings about it, and I don't want to misquote it. It's a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the best way to sum it up. It's like, man, life is so bad, I'm going to end this. Versus, actually, fuck that. Let me live the best life I can, so I make all my friends, family proud, and the ones that passed. Like, if they're watching, if they're looking down, they're like, "Hey, like this dude is kicking ass in my name." And then how will I do that? I'll do these things with veterans. If we do a veteran giving away, like donating to nonprofits, doing these events. Now you can honor their name by talking about him, talking about Goodyear, talking about like all these individuals that you got to experience these moments with during your service. Now you can let their name live on way longer because.
So I was just telling you, we were talking like an hour ago, and I was just telling you, I just got news from people that are in the front in Ukraine. They were telling me that a couple of the people that I interviewed for the series that I did there they're dead. They're KIA or MIA. And it was like, it's been weighing on me since then, because I'm like sitting with those thoughts, and these people, I've stayed in touch with them, and like we were talking on Instagram just a week ago. And it's the weird thing about this war is, it's not like in Iraq, it was more difficult for us to chat by home, but like we were just on Instagram every day, and he's like sending me videos of him shooting at the Russians and like just giving me updates. And now suddenly he was a Fallujah veteran, mayhem, and now he's just dead. And I'm like still processing that. And the way I look at it is, I'm like, okay, I know for a fact he told me he's like very proud of the video that we did together. We went infiltrated to the front with him. Like
He was one of the guys that was on that push into the
and
Ukraine.
then one of the Kursk guys, the Bradley team that I've interviewed, they're missing in action too. And I'm like, yeah, I look at it like, okay, I'm going to try to highlight these people, and no one would know about them if we don't talk about them. I don't know. It's just something that it's funny. My time in Ukraine was actually really intense, getting artilleried, mortared, airstrikes by Russians while I'm in a tiny basement, and you feel the pounding around you and they're getting closer and closer. And it actually didn't, like, I have zero trauma from it. Came back, and Iraq was like, for some reason, messed with me more. But I think part of it has to do with, like, I have more meaning in my life, and I do feel like I have direction, and I do have a purpose for doing these things. I don't know. I'm going on a tangent here, but these are just things that are like on my mind.
Well, it's good. And I'm glad. Thank you for opening up, even discussing it. Is that feeling comfortable? And I think that's why I always connect with. So even like Brandon brought Eli Crane on. I've never known that guy. He was a SEAL guy, boom, 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 but fucking instantly like connect. Terry or who else? Craighead, like Christian Craighead. Dude, me and that dude instantly like just homies, because you have that different level of connection. And I don't know why. It seems like somebody that's went through those trials and tribulations. You have a feel. I can never explain that, why I can connect easier with an individual like that than random people. I'm like, oh, we can relate on a different level. And
there's a language that you understand and that you can speak. It's almost like speaking a language that a lot of people don't know or can't know.
Yep.
It's that's the way I would liken it too, is that you can commiserate with other people about those kind of things, for sure.
And then you're like, as you were going back to like the individuals you just lost, your friends, it's you mourn their death but celebrate their life. Is especially if they can. It sucks that they were younger. They're 40, like 35 to 40ish, probably.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The Bradley dudes were very young. The Fallujah veteran guy, the American, he was in 42, I think. Bradley dudes, one of them was like 20. So I go to Kursk to hang with them. They showed me the Bradley, and then I'm like, okay, we're gonna go back. We take him back to see his wife. That's like the bizarre thing about Ukraine. So like, you're just, okay, I'm going to go from the front. I'm going to go see imagine how much better Iraq would have been if I could have been like, all right, I'm going to go see my wife. See you guys when we go back out on patrol again.
I don't know if I'd like that more or less.
There's definitely pros and cons to that.
Bro, that's fucking
just dropped him off with his wife. And then like, okay, he's gonna go into Russia tomorrow. Like, what?
I don't know, man, because you get used to that tempo and that separation. I did like the separation because you're just worried about the dudes to my left and right. So there's never
It's gonna get in your head.
Yes.
It's gonna get in your head.
Otherwise, you're like, man, what kiddo? Oh, gotta say bye every day versus.
That's why the army needs 19-year-old dudes. They need 18, 19-year-old dudes with like, if they have a girlfriend, that girlfriend, she's already cheating on you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You don't know anyone at that age. Yeah. It's gonna happen until 27. Then you kind of figure yourself out. Anything before that, that relationship probably gonna fall apart. Yeah, I mean, man, that is one of those. It's a good topic point of just like it. Hopefully, people listening, it's okay. If I've lost people, or I have these thoughts, or I'm dealing with something bad, it's temporary. It's a speed bump. You'll look back at it and be like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. That's your new reset. I always say that's where combat's my new stress level reset. Is it that bad? No. So, oh no, this happened. That's my low. So now I'm like, okay, well, it's not my low. I just have to build up from there. Or I can help somebody that does get near to that low or those experiences. I can help guide them through that because I've experienced it. I've been depressed. I've dealt with all that stuff. So now hopefully I can at least help people and show them, hey, or have like individuals like yourself, like, hey, look, they were in that spot, but look where they are now in life because they address their issues and then they let it motivate them instead of being a victim. Like that's the worst thing you can do is become a victim or think you are owed because, oh, I was a veteran. I deserve this.
Yeah, I was just going to say that like you could also go down the road of, okay, so I had it so hard and so tough. So like if anyone has a problem and it's not that bad, then like I'm going to look down on it. But that's also not the mentality. No. It's like everyone can have bad days. Hell yeah. Everyone like if your bad day is today, someone backed into your car and like scraped your car. That sucks. That sucks. That's a bad. It doesn't. We don't have to do the like victim Olympics here.
No.
Like yeah. So once I kind of had that realization, that was a good thing for me because dude, for years, like I wasted so many years. I wasted probably a decade where I just felt like a victim and didn't realize it because you rationalize it to where you're not sitting there thinking I'm a victim, but then you realize all the ways you're behaving like a victim without coming out and saying I'm a victim. But like I did that for years. And I think it was part of the reason, it was part of my journey, and I'm happy with the mistakes I made are who I am. But like looking back on it, if I could change anything, there's like a 10-year just time where I look back and I'm like, if I had just been working hard and like moving forward, I could be so much further already. Like I basically handicapped myself.
Dude, and so many people do it. They're like, oh, look what happened to me. Great. I guarantee people have been way worse off and are still kicking ass and not using that as a crutch for or a reason why they haven't got where they want in life. And I think that's a lot of people do.
My biggest roadblock was me. And I didn't realize it. It was me so hard. It was me for so hard for so long. And actually, it took some hard looking in the mirror. I've done a couple of times in my life. I've had to look in the mirror, and it's never been good. I never look like it's never a good time. I'm like, damn, yeah, you looking good, bro. Yeah. Like, no, I was like, one time the reason I joined the Army was because I was at art school and I was talking about, I'm like, yeah, the Iraq War is so good, so good. And some student was like, if you really think that, why don't you leave school and go enlist in the Army? And I was like, oh, okay, I need to look in the mirror. And another time I'm like, why am I having no success? I got fired from, I was working in the tech industry doing like, after I was working The Daily Show, after I felt like a dead end in my career where I was like making marketing videos for tech companies and big giant tech companies. And I'm like,
evergreen marketing videos.
Yeah, which God bless, we need those companies. But, But like, and I'm like, why is this my life? And then I realized, like, oh, it's me. This is my life because me and the decisions I've made. And I didn't want to have that realization.
It's hard, dude. A lot of people, I think, could go so much further if they did just do that. If they just looked in the mirror and said, fuck, man, my life sucks. You know why? Because I got here.
Because like just radically go against yourself, and it could have positive results.
I have did this to myself. Why am I broke? Because I probably spent unneeded money.
So underneath it all, what we're talking about is just like I needed to take responsibility for myself. I didn't want to, and it feels good to not. It feels really good to not take responsibility for myself.
It's way easier.
Like so once I started doing that, I started noticing, okay, the more I do this, like it's better. And so like my life just 180'd, like over a period of time, over years of, it wasn't instant. It was like, I did not know how to manage people or know how to like manage a team and personalities. And that was things that I had to learn and was very uncomfortable with. Like a lot of just super uncomfortable with a lot of things I've had to do over the last 6 years, 10 years. But like I thought to myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. Just going to like be uncomfortable with this and just soak in how uncomfortable I am. And like, I'm either going to get better at it or not. And I don't know. That
But
was
you're going to take
like,
the risk.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are risk adverse. I always said I've lived my life very much with no net. I always tried to remove that net. Well, I definitely want to hear about your child, like where you started before the military, because I don't even know that. You just said Daily Show. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But it's living the life without a net. That means you can't fail. I really like that idea of you might fail, but if you make it where you'll fail on maybe one or two parts of that journey, but when you fail, you're immediately on to how to fix that failure and turn it into a win. And if you remove that net, if you have family, it's like, oh, they support you financially. They do things where you can't, I'll be fine. They'll take care of me. Well, if it didn't work out and you give up, I think that's what the net does a lot of times versus any time in my life where it's been, I'm joining the army. I'm doing this no matter what. Okay, I'm now have a kiddo, and I'm going to make this YouTube a thing, and I'm going to just make it a thing. And then when I got the opportunity or going to that first PAX, and by chance, because I knew Freddie and them were going to be there, Freddie Wong and Rocket Chip, I was like, well, I've told the story. Well, I have $120. I have like $150 or $100 or $200 for the rest of the week. So I have enough to feed Ryden and my child's mom at that time. So they'll be good. I'll just have to eat like ramen for the next week, but I'm gonna go do this event no matter what. So my family's taken care of, bills are good. I just won't have any money for myself, but I have to go to this event. I have to take a chance and go to this event. Because they said, you can run into us. So I was like, and then I did. I literally ran into them by chance on an escalator. They're like, yo, come up and watch us play video games. So I did. And I just sat and I took that chance of talking to him. I was like, yo, what's going on? Talking to Clint, boom, boom, boom. And then I ran into him again on the street. Then I ran into him again at a random bar. And then I ran into him again at the VIP party. So 4 random times. And the 4th one, they're like, how the fuck do you get in here even? This is a VIP party. And I'm knowing. It's like, the girl. It's like, what? You can talk to girls? I was like, yes. Follow me, boys. And then we had a blast. And that next year, they asked me if I wanted to join them during PAX. And after that, they said, hey, do you want to work for us? Do you want to drive to LA and work for us at Rocket Jump? Freddie Wong. 100% yes. Hey, baby mama, I am moving down to LA. Give me 2 months. I will have an apartment and I will get everything set up. Clint, and shout out to Clint. He was like, yeah, you can live with me for a couple weeks to a month while you get your stuff on, get set up. Done and done. And I made that work. I was like, I am making this happen no matter what. Got it set up. They moved down. And then I just kept doing that. I was like, okay, bills are paid. I have to get this done. I have to get this done. I have to get this done. It's just, I have to succeed. And then I just kept that process even for unsub with the big things that happened with unsub, because it was terrifying. Like when you're going through those readjustments, we've done 2 where it's like, hey, one of the partners is stepping away. Hey, one of the partners is stepping away a lot. That would kill most channels when you go through like a reorganization and you're losing a host, because we've done that twice. It's terrifying. But in my head, I just said, I will make this work. I'm going to set this up for success no matter what. I even did a video on the last one. I was like, hey guys, this is what's going on. I'm so thankful for all of you for giving me this opportunity and giving and making this possible. And it just kept growing. But I took those risks, and then I didn't play victim or said, well, this is too hard, I'm just going to give up. I never gave up until I got where we are now. And it's surrounding myself with dudes that are like-minded, that give everything and really try in life and are good individuals, good people at the end of the day.
Surrounding yourself with good people is 1,000%. There's people that I had to I had to cut them out. Yep. And it was really hard for me. It was like people that I thought, were good, were like my close friends, but I realized it's like are they your close friends or are they like your drinking buddies? They're just like people you're getting just annihilated with. It's like, you kind of have to change a lot about your life. And what you're talking about, I can really relate to that. Like, taking giant risks is terrifying, but I also felt like I had no choice. There wasn't an option. Because I would think about it from every angle. I'm very risk adverse. And I also, like I was saying earlier, I really have very low self-esteem. So when I take these risks, in the back of my head, I'm like, this is going to go terribly. This is not going to work out. You think about all the reasons why it's not going to work. And then I think what I ultimately came to, and so I was talking to my mom. I was calling mommy, and I was like, Mom, I'm about to post this video about why I left Task and Purpose, and I'm almost positive that like it's going to bomb and it's not going to do well, and I've made a terrible mistake. And she was like, no, don't worry about it. It's gonna be. And then I realized I'm like, actually, even if it goes terribly, like, I need to own that. I need to realize that if it goes bad, it is because of something I did and not because of like something I said somewhere or like
the algorithm.
It's just like, if it goes bad, it's something I did and I need to learn from it. And then we're going to get it right the next time. We're going to build this thing. Even if it's not a good launch, like it's going to happen. And yeah, I risked everything. I put everything on the line. When you talk about having no safety nets, the Army feels like not having a safety net because you're in war and you could die. But you almost do have a safety net because like you have your squad, you have your platoon, you have your battalion, like
paycheck, first 15.
Yeah, like but to be an entrepreneur and to really like go out there on your own, it is zero. This is the first time in my life where I really feel like I have zero safety net. Went into it with just like here's all my cards, putting them on the table, and like come what may.
And I mean, and he truly, we were talking about this on the drive back, as you were saying, man, that first episode, you're like, this is going to fail. 30,000 views. No one's going to jump over. And okay, well, upload, and you go through that self-doubt and running it by, but come out. You came out fucking swinging for the fences. I was like, bro, but what? Wait, how many subs you at right now?
Last time I checked, I think it was 400.
420 almost. You're 419. 420,000 subs. 419,000 subs on 8 videos. You motherfucker. That is. And I love that. That is so fucking awesome to see that level of just winning and how you built your community and then they followed you. Like they rallied behind you. You built an army and then they followed you into the breach. They're like, hey, we're going with you. Fucking let's do this thing.
It was not clear to me that they would or wouldn't. I was like, I don't know, because it doesn't always go that way for everyone. And I'm so grateful that these people had my back and that they appreciate, because what I really want to do is I want to make banger content for them. And I want to repay that what they've done for me by like, I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to continue to give you, because I like YouTube, I put my life on the line for YouTube. I would like, that's a job that I'll die for this, like for this opportunity to tell people, to have a chance to speak to millions of people and to be able to tell people about what I've gone through and also give them a perspective on what I think is happening in the world. Like that back and forth to me is what I've always feel like I've wanted in life. And so like that to me is worth dying for. When I was in Iraq, I was basically, I'm like, okay, I'll die for oil, I guess. But like this seems more meaningful to me to have the opportunity. Yeah.
Would you die for Arco gas station? Tell Shell
Wait,
I
how
love her.
how much is it per gallon? I would die for $2 per gallon.
Fuck. Fuck.
Oh my God.
That's when you're just like,
I gotta pee on that note.
yeah, go pee. The community following you, and then as you said, if it failed, you wanted to blame to anyone but yourself. You wanted to be like, I do. The one thing that's I find wild is watching a lot of new creators, Reddit, on the new Reddit, small YouTubers, anything like that. You see everyone blames the fucking algorithm instead of being like, it's your content. Your content's terrible. Your thumbnails are bad. Like, that is why your stuff's not doing good.
Dude, that's so funny. You lurk the same subreddit to me. So that's one of the subreddits that I lurk. I think it's because Reddit, they know like what I hover over, so they just kept showing me. It's called new YouTubers, and I'll read it all the time. And like you said, it's everyone is blamed. They're like, did something change with the algorithm? Or they're like, did YouTube change? I've wanted to do that. I've wanted to say that. And it's easy to want to think that and be like, okay, it's the video's doing poorly because the algorithm screwed me over. No, the video's just not good. There's something wrong with the video. Yeah, man, like the transition as a whole was actually turned out being really super smooth. And what I'm trying to focus on is actually basically I'm doing half the amount of videos, but I want the videos to be twice as good. And that to me has always been like what I couldn't do at Task and Purpose. Basically, they needed 2 videos a week, like good or bad or whatever. And it just feels like I'm churning out videos sometimes that, I put everything into each video. But when you do 2 a week, 2 documentaries like a week, I'm like, okay, it felt like a race to the bottom. It felt like I'm like,
You burn out.
want to only be putting out videos that I'm like, this is exactly what I want to say right now. Also, sometimes you do 2 a week, you kind of have to chase the news. Like you're going to have to be putting out, if something happens in the news, like you put something out right away. And I want to make content that's like for a little bit more legs to it. Yeah, it's also
2 a week.
Funny how you, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, like, for the audience, 2 a week and docu-style with how you would do it is absolutely asinine. Like, 1 a week, you burn yourself out.
I was working every weekend. Every single weekend, I'm, putting videos together, making sure that they get out on the deadline. And, I'm sure they had no idea that I was doing that, but it's like...
You can't even get ahead.
No.
That's what's wild.
And that's why when I realized I'm having a child, I'm like, okay, I have to change something here. And I even thought to myself, like, if this fails and I have to go work somewhere else, then great. Like at the very least, I'm not working every single weekend until 8 p.m. trying to pump out 2 videos a week. And if I do 2 videos a week in the future, like it'll be in a way where it works and makes sense. But I don't know. The transition has been amazing and the response has been incredible. It's funny how when like I didn't expect the response basically where you start hearing from a bunch of people who are very supportive and who learned kind of about the journey and where I was coming from. And it's just for me been amazing to like meet all these people and hear from these people that are, back entrepreneurs basically and small businesses, because going from working for like a giant corporation that is a multi-million-dollar private equity firm to working for it's just me, and I saved every dollar I had for the past 3 years, because I knew I'm like, if once this contract ends and the contract negotiation is coming up in 3 years, I'm like, if they were to send me a really low ball offer, I need to have enough saved where I can feel like I can try to go off and do this on my own, because, and so that's like, I spent years and years preparing. You want to go out to dinner, or it's a lot of sacrifice. It's like a lot of,
I don't think people, and I will just a testament to you, that level of dedication for 2 videos a week is, I know for the people that might do, you don't create content, it's not in your wheelhouse. The level of work that takes, especially to be authentic, to have good quality, to research stories, to get the footage, the B-roll, all that going into Ace. And then that's not even the edit. Then the edit and that side is so much work and effort. This is, it will burn you to the ground. Or it is sorry, I'll re-say that. It is mentally exhausting, even doing it for 3 hours. Being on camera for 3 hours is exhausting, especially, I'm an introvert. I don't know about yourself. I'm like, the most exhausting thing. I act as an extrovert for camera. My favorite thing is quiet time with the family, and that's it. But you in your head, you're like, I have to do this, so I just have to suck it up. You know what? I'm not getting shot at.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do this. This isn't so bad. I've been through worse. It's just a different mental game.
I think people could relate to it, as far as like, if you work a job that's like an 80-hour week, then you know what I'm talking about. It's like just takes everything out of you. Totally an introvert. My favorite thing is to sit with my puppy and my wife and just like watch YouTube, watch Meat Canyon.
Have you met Puppy Meat yet?
I haven't.
Oh, I'll have to FaceTime him after this.
Yeah, man, I watch him all the time.
This
my wife. Yeah, we love his stuff.
Dude, we just watched his stuff last night. That's I'll text him. Hey, dude, Hunter is my boy. Him and Wendigoon are like some of the best humans you will ever meet. If you don't watch Papa Meat Canyon, like, go watch his content. And also Wendigoon, always a shout out to that dude. They sweetest boys. And yeah, same. It is like an 80-hour work week. Plus you have to manage, and then you have to create so you don't get off time. So think when you go home and you're watching the news, or you're watching a movie or a TV show, and you're like, you get to turn your brain off and just take that in. We don't. You have to process what you're watching, because your brain doesn't shut off, and you're like, oh, how'd they do that? Oh, look at that. Oh, man, this would make a good story. Oh, babe, take a note on that. I don't know if you do that.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's why I watch YouTube, because I'm like, what are they doing? How can I apply it to what I'm doing? Love watching people outside of the military space for that reason. And and the worst part about it was during all of it is like, I felt like I wasn't fully reaping the benefits of all of that. Like, I'm like living this life where I'm like, okay, if I'm going to dedicate my life to this thing, then it'd be nice to like see the rewards, or to be able to build it in the way that I've always imagined, where there's all these different things that I've wanted to do, but like couldn't, because there's red tape. And, when I first started there, it was like a one-man band. It was me and a green screen and the camera. And it was brutal. Like, I was terrible at it, and I needed to get better. And I needed to learn how to cooperate with other people and trust them, really, and to find the best people who can, because I always thought, I'm really good at editing, but I'm not as good at editing as someone who is really good at editing, who can make a map animation and can animate it in ways that I never even like could think about. And then they are what, my team is what allowed me basically to talk about bigger and bigger things that, I don't know.
Make it possible. It's weird. It's awesome. You're always searching for those like people to add on to your team. You deal with the stress. It is, again, exhausting mentally, but the most rewarding thing possible is being able It's yours. You get to control it. You can then also change, as we were talking about in the car ride here. It's being able to hire people and then incentivize, but also reward those people that are just kicking ass and taking names. It is such a good feeling. Be like, hey, here, like you earn this, and you're not. Because I mean, I'm sure you experience you've either been screwed over or you've watched people get screwed over, and yourself, you'll be like, how do you do that? I would never do that to anyone. And then you don't. You go above and beyond for your employees because they're following you, and vice versa. You will shield them from the bad shit. You will own responsibility for bad leadership decisions.
I won't say where this happened, but I'll say this happened where there was a place where, let's say I worked at, that didn't give a bonus to someone on my team. I sent them that money on my own. I was like, they didn't send you this, and it wasn't even like a crazy amount of money. I'm like, wherever this happened, we're bringing in over $1 million, and they are not paying him a bonus of like, let's say $750 or so.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm going to send you this money, and I'm going to make good on what they basically should have. And, like I will always, and for me, it's like, that's not nothing. It would have been basically nothing for the company. Who knows what company this was, but like it meant a lot to him. And now I am repaying that like tenfold.
And I guarantee
we have that trust with each other now.
And they'll go to bat. They'll have your back no matter what from then on out too. Cause it's like it baffles you. You're like, this is nothing. Dude, what was the most baffling thing for me is getting into this position where now you have a lot of employees and you're taking care of them and you're incentivizing the ones that really kick ass. But reflecting on how much trouble or how much teeth pulling it was if you go back to the companies that you're working for a part of, and you're like, holy shit, you guys just are terrible leaders. You were stingy. You didn't know what the hell you were doing. What? And that's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then you flip out about it.
Yeah. And you see some of these companies that are operating at scales of tens of millions of dollars, and you see them shoot themselves in the foot over hundreds of dollars, and they're thinking about tens of millions. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
You'll never get it, which is crazy. You just use that as a learning experience that's why I think I'm most thankful. It's, well, I know what I'll never do or how I'll ever treat people. And then I'll put that into
almost some of it is like, there are people whose entire jobs are, I think they call it like industrial psychology. And there's ways of like, how do you motivate a team? And it's part of it is expectations. And you're almost better off not saying, hey, this is a bonus that you're going to get. And then to only take it away after some like arbitrary,
stupid. Oh, dude, that's the worst mindset. Like, show and shout out. I will always thank Show for everything she has done, because that girl crushes it. It's like one of those, you're being able to find an individual that works that hard. So rare. And then to watch her succeed and then compensate her for every time. Because at national average is like what's a normal raise? It's like 2.5% is like the legal yearly.
I think to keep up with like inflation, they say that you should get like a 6% each year.
Damn.
And then really they give, I mean, most of the places I've ever worked, I would get like a 3%.
I want to say legal amount for a raise USA. It's like, the legal, there is no set.
There's a lot of people that they get like reduced.
Yes. Oh, which is, dude, that is the most
what
wild.
Could be more demotivating than that? Holy hell.
Yeah, even that is like, I don't know. Apparently there's no legal amount, but I still like 2.5 to 5 for a year of work. And that's one thing I was like, oh God, no. Like what? Like I adjust according to how much work they're doing, and if they're kicking ass, fucking it usually brings in more for yourself,
Yes.
which then gives more to them. Not like my hoard, I'm a like, bah, this is my goal. Never will I do that in a million years. I'm like, cool, save, put away, but how do we make this cooler? How do we hire more people? It's like Pepper Box is so fucking exciting because I see where that can go, and I see more on the side of the cool stuff we can do. We were talking about Warfare, or the series that you were like, man, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff where we were discussing. And if you want to know what a lunch is, just a lunch where a lot of people, when you're with your boys on a normal, relaxing lunch, it's, oh, how you doing? Oh man, look at that girl. That no, we're just talking about business the entire time. And
so that tickles me. That excites me. Because I'm trying to connect the dots. I'm like, oh, you guys know the people that I'm trying to get in touch with, and we could make beautiful content together, baby.
And that's
when the gears are just when you see. It's funny how now when and I would never say anything bad about Task and Purpose, and like God bless them, and I hope they do very well. But you just see when the incentives are aligned, it's so much different. It's like when everybody is in it to like, hey, let's help each other, is a very different mentality that I'm almost not used to. And it's amazing to see what people can do when they like collaborate together towards a common goal.
Dude, and I can see the big picture. And I think seeing that big picture and then guiding people, helping them also understand the big picture, because everyone's going to have different versions of that. And it's like, no, it's putting trust and faith also into the individual. But it's like, this is where we can take this. This is how big this thing can get. This can really change lives, not only for the people involved, but then the audience, the community. They can start experiencing or seeing this side that isn't censored or isn't going down a garbage chute, because we will check ourselves if that happens.
You know what I've always thought, when as far as like my addictive brain, is the button that I push, if I keep pushing the add value to the viewer button, like as long as I'm hitting that red button of I'm just going to add more value, I'm just going to make this more valuable for the viewer, and like the viewer is going to get so much value out of this. I'm like,
you don't want to disappoint them.
Yes.
Dude, that is like the thing I am most terrified of, and what I would feel like a failure is if I disappointed the community, if I let them down, or I took a shortcut or something like that, and I would feel like an actual piece of shit. It's from everything I do, and I probably speak for you. I want the highest quality, and I want them to have this amazing experience. That's why even for like the unsub shoes, like the shoes, the flip-flops right now, they were having a glue issue of sticking. First off, I wanted the shoes to, like, you could beat them up, then they would last no matter what. It was like, hey, no matter what, these should last. And teaming up with Combat and Griff and those guys, Combat Flip-Flops and them, and feeling them and beating the shit out of them, I was like, okay, these are high quality, they're super comfortable, and they last forever. We beat the shit out of some shoes to make sure it was up to what I wanted. And then we also offered the lifetime warranty. And people are like, what? Why would you do that? I'm like, because I feel that you should be able to do that. And if you give a good product to somebody, they will buy the next pair of shoes. It might, like, if it falls apart and it's honest, then but I don't think a lot of people, if it's like, man, I got 4 years out of these, time to cash in on that free one. I don't think a lot of people, they're like, no, I got to support the boys. They did this. The shoes right now, the stitching was falling apart, they were ungluing on the flip-flop. We had a small issue on some of them. So shout out, now you guys know this. We're doing reinforced double stitching across all of it. Pepper Box, dude, companies have you know what the best part is? You have instant feedback with social media. Hey, what would you change? What would you add? What are issues?
That was
cool. Done.
1,000% how I grew as a creator, was all of the negative feedback that I got. And there was so much negative feedback about
Why are you white? Why do you have a beard? You're like, what?
Yeah. I learned a lot about myself. All the things that my mom would never say to me.
You're perfect.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I am.
Tell that to the YouTube comments, Mom.
I'm her special boy. Why is he so awkward on camera? And I'm like, I need to get less awkward, okay?
But you've stepped up, and you're so thankful for it. And that's why, as we were just circling back, it is why you hold yourself to that high of a standard, is because of them, like the people out there watching you. You're like, man.
I think everyone is a little bit dying for honest feedback. I think everyone in their life and in their job a little bit is dying for like someone to come and say, you suck, and you can do better. Like what you're doing right now, it sucks. And also, you could do better. And no one ever does that. No one ever comes. A lot of times, I've worked in very big corporations my whole life, like big, giant places. And the places that I noticed that are high performance driven, like when I was at The Daily Show, it is very self-critical. Very like, we can do better. And it's almost like a flogging exercise of just like beating the hell out of yourself. And then places that are more institutional and like giant. I've worked at IBM and Cisco, just really mammoth places and successful in their own right. But there you could kind of coast. And for a while, there was a point in time where there was a section of my company that didn't even realize that like I was still working there because I had transferred from New York. They were paying me paychecks and didn't even realize for a couple months. And you would think that feels great. No, it doesn't. I'm like, somebody come in here and fire me. Like, I need to be productive. People want so badly to have that honest feedback. And I would say YouTube was the first time in my life I was exposed to that. And it can be shocking, but I think it's also, if you can digest it, like, oh my God.
It's hard.
What's better than that?
It's hard to digest a lot of times. I mean, Finn, you're editing this right now. I think, I don't know. Are you editing this one? But it's a good example of, I know as a boss, you show too. Like, I hold my employees to a very high standard, and it's a brutal, I don't know if it's the brutal, it's that weird, as we were talking about even with the Iraq, like how you're wired, or that disconnect, or is it autism? Don't fucking know. Just don't fucking know. I hold everyone to a high standard. I'm brutally honest. I'm like, why did you do it this way? This was a bad way. Why would you even think? Because in my brain, it doesn't click of how certain stuff is done. But that's why when I see individuals show Finn, Chase, they learn so fast. They try to recorrect their errors, and then they start learning on their own. And that's where I am so happy, because I get to watch that and I see, oh man, like they own that mistake. They're like, fuck. They don't make excuses. That goes so much further on all aspects when I'm dealing with somebody, or even myself. You just own your mistakes. You apologize to yourself, like, I fucked up, or hey, I fucked up, and then you do better after that. You get to watch them change, and then they know they got better. They know, like, oh man, look where I was a year ago versus where I am now. That is because of this. That is because I got honest feedback for once, instead of, you're a beautiful boy. You're my favorite boy. Yeah. You're the best boy.
What a good boy. Yes, you are. And then, I mean, the beautiful thing for me is then when like I learn from my team, and I love that. I love when they teach me stuff. And I'm like, oh, I hadn't even thought of we could do it that way. Or, yeah, like that to me has been especially, yeah, that's the incredible part, when it's like they're doing their part of the pie perfectly, and then all the gears are turning in line, and it feels like a well-oiled machine. It's part of what I took from my time at The Daily Show. I learned how they churn out Because how do you
What
make
did you
something
do
that,
at the Daily Show?
oh, I got coffee. Like I
Dude,
was
congratulations.
I was an intern at first. I was an unpaid intern. And then after that, I was a production assistant. And what I got to do was like bring John his, I got to bring John Stewart his script and his apples with peanut butter and cut them for him. And like got to see how does someone at that level that's at the top of his game, like what are the things that he does? And he gets there first and he leaves last and he knows everybody's name down to the PA and like just treats everybody so well, whether you agree with his politics or not, like whatever, not the point. The guy is just at the top of his game. One of the greatest satirical minds of our time. Like, how do you make something that's creative? How do you churn that out now as an episodic thing? Because creativity, you can kind of like get stuck in, oh, well, I'm an artist. But really, it's like art is also a product and your art is as valuable as people think it is. And
Kill your babies.
yeah, right. And so seeing his process of how do you work with a team of researchers and then make it your perspective and like just working there, it was a giant learning experience of how to make a machine of pumping out content, sort of. I saw how they did it, how they pitch ideas and, you know, how it goes through the whole process. And then they do it each day. And it's like, yeah, mind-boggling. Yeah.
Those are, God, that, if anyone also, if you heard, oh, cut the apples and put peanut butter on them, that is the least, that probably helps his creativity a good chunk, and it is taking away that time that he would be focused on that in order to focus on creating, writing, being in front of the camera. A lot of people, it can get that mindset. It's like, oh, what spoiled? He has to do that. Don't look at it like that. Look at it as that is a job that is employing somebody and getting paid to do that, so he can think. I have like she books like my flights, tickets, stuff like that. And it is so helpful because I have 6 businesses right now across the board. There's 6 things I have to run or operate. And it's meetings to that, to this, to that. And I'm like, but, and she helps tremendously. And that's why if you ever hear like that, where it's like the cutting of apples, I don't want a viewer to be like, what a spoiled brat. It's like, no. As you said, he was the first to the office, the last.
And when I say first to the office, he was getting in at like 7 and leaving at 8 or 9. There were nights where he would be leaving like 8, and then he's going back to Jersey, and it's like another 45 minutes out of the city. He was a workhorse. The dude was unstoppable.
Did that motivate the hell out of you watching somebody like that?
Because I saw I'm like, okay, to be at that percentile of performance, it takes obsession. It takes nothing less than absolute obsession. You have to really, really care about what you're talking about. And like every topic of every video I ever did at Task and Purpose, I picked that topic. I was a control freak when it came to like, what am I talking about and what's the perspective and because I grew up listening to talk radio. Like my parents split when I was very young. I was 11 when they split up. And a lot of my time with my dad he was like driving me to karate or to baseball. And we would spend time in the car for half an hour here and there, or like I'd see him on the weekend. And a lot of that time, like we'd listen to talk radio, and that's how we would pass the time. And so I wouldn't say I was indoctrinated, but like he loved listening to that stuff, and I'm his son. So like I want to bond with him. And I grew up listening to like one perspective messaging, and that was old media and that was legacy media. And I always grew up thinking like, wouldn't it be great if there were sources where people would tell you multiple perspectives and be a little bit more upfront about maybe where they're coming from and their bias and like their opinion. And that to me is objectivity. So what I did at Task and Purpose, and what I'm trying to take to another level with my new venture is like, I want
Cappy Army.
Cappy
Don't
Army.
call it new venture. It is a new venture. But also promote yourself with that exact same. I like you promote the old, but then you don't even say the name for the new. We're working on the marketing side. You censor the one you shouldn't be censoring.
What am I doing?
The fuck.
Oh my god, I fire that guy. But yeah, okay. I try not to over self promote, but it is Cappy Army, and what we are trying to do, what our mission statement is like, I want to because I think guys like us, infantrymen, regular soldiers, we should have more information about the wars that we're asked to fight in, the battles that we might be asked to go and die in. Like, I think infantrymen should have more. I don't know about you, but like when I went to Iraq, I didn't even know that dudes like wore man dresses and held hands. Like, that's normal there.
Yep.
That's what they do. That's their culture. I didn't know that there was, I don't think I even knew there was like Shia and Sunni.
I didn't even know. Like, I learned that over there. I was like,
Right?
what the fuck?
Yeah.
And they hate each other.
They don't like each other,
No.
apparently. They really have a disagreement.
They don't like U.S. soldiers, but they really don't like each other. We had, senators. We had to segregate them like that, and that's that level of like. You think they don't like troops, man? They way don't like each other. They hate each other
And
way more.
Maybe you got like a super boring briefing like I did, where it was some PowerPoint where they're like, by the way, guys, there's Sunnis and there's Shia, and it's like, no one listened to that. No, like I'm gonna make it an entertaining show where maybe you will take away some information. And I know every day I get emails from dudes that are like joining the army or they're in the army, and they're like, you got me interested in geopolitics. And I don't know, that's just like what I'm hoping to do.
I mean, you're doing a fantastic job. What was it like? So when you were a kiddo, did you grow up in like middle income, low income?
My dad punched tickets on the railroad for 30 years. He was a conductor on Long Island Railroad.
He was a conductor? Not gonna lie, I wanted to be a conductor.
It's a great job. He worked so hard, and I don't know how to say this other than like, okay, so I grew up, the school that I went to, there was some wealthy people there, and I kind of for a while felt weird about the fact that like I wasn't super wealthy. I wasn't poor, but like my dad was a conductor and my mom worked for the government at, doing like IT. Mm-hmm. And I then later in life look back and I'm like, my dad worked so hard to support 3 kids and broke his back to like do everything he ever did was for us. And when my parents split, like he didn't go and like spend extravagantly. He got like a tiny apartment so that he could like put money into us and invest in our college. And like I learned so much about what it means to not put yourself first all the time. And he's who got me interested in like filmmaking and video and in politics and geopolitics. And like he would get he would have like the VHS camera before, like that was what he would have. And he would, we would make like little stop action movies together. And that was like how we bonded. And then we'd like I taught myself how to. The first time I edited on a video editing platform like Premiere, it was called oh my god, what was it called? It wasn't Premiere back then. It was Pinnacle Studios. It was like this random ass thing that we downloaded off LimeWire. We actually he ripped
pirated
it. He pirated it for me. Off of LimeWire. He's like, okay, here's this editing thing. And I was blown away because you could do green screen.
Oh,
and I'm like 13, 12 years old, and I taught myself when I was 12 how to edit on Pinnacle.
By the way, just for the viewers out there, at this time, YouTube barely a thing, and watching tutorials was there. They didn't exist. You're reading books. I learned Maya back in it was Maya in 2001, 2002. YouTube's not a thing, and I was just reading on how to do like 3D animation. I'm like,
You had to go to the forums. You had to go to like
Yeah.
the news groups. Like,
Yeah. So you're learning Pinnacle.
yeah. Yep. Just learning from, I bother my dad. I'm like, Dad, do you do that? How do you key out the green screen? Why isn't it working? Or like, and he would, he's like he's a geek into computer stuff. So he would help me with learning how to do the video editing. Like everything I ever learned as far as video stuff, I taught myself. Yeah. I did film school, but really that was just to open the doors to go to get to NYU, which got me the opportunity to work at the Daily Show. But like everything I taught myself and was obsessed with like video editing ever since I was 12. It was mainly like I am obsessed with military stuff and video stuff, and that's like that's my like friggin' obsession, man. Like really super obsessed with so when I used to get bullied when I was a kid because I would memorize all of the like actor names I obsessively knew the cast of every movie. So
Oh, no shit.
I'm in the back of the bus getting picked up to go to school, and they're like, "Who's the cast of Batman?" And I'm like listening. I'm Michelle Pfeiffer,
Michael Keaton.
yeah. And they're like, I didn't realize they're laughing at me, but like I'm like, cool. Like I get to
Ladies.
yes, yeah. Exactly. So I've just like always been obsessed with movies and storytelling, and also with like adventure stuff, like Indiana Jones. I wanted to be Indiana Jones, so embarrassingly so. Like I would dress up, I'd buy a fedora.
Oh, God.
And yeah,
Dude,
and
you got
like,
so much puss in high school.
Oh hell no. I was such
Ladies.
yeah.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Well, okay. So in my defense, I was like 7 when I did this, but
Okay. It's a bit better.
yeah. Like I wasn't in high school,
But your dad also fueled that, which is awesome. Like he was like, for hey, let's help with Pinnacle. Hey, let's do this. And yes, it was not the cool thing at that age, but still, look at you now. I guarantee the guys that like the people you go to school with, they're like, dang, homeboys, I was a nerd too. Like I was the kid that I was doing stop motion in middle school and high school. That's I was like, holy shit, VHS, but we would edit through the stop and the play, record, stop.
Yeah. Yes. You had to do it in camera.
Yes. So you learn everything in camera, and we'd use the action figures we would have, and we would have a fucking blast with it. But it is, and then learning the programs, the computer, Photoshop, CS Photoshop. It was CS Photoshop back in the Flash, and doing all that. Oh, like
so. For me, it was like I wanted to be able to do. I remember having this thought too when I was in film school. I'm like, do I want to be the person in front of the camera, or do I want to be the one behind the camera? And I really couldn't make up my mind. I'm like, at the time there wasn't really an option for both. Yep. And it's like I wanted to be Indiana Jones, go to Ukraine and like risk your life and do this crazy shit. But I also wanted to like be the person telling the stories. So that's what I've always wanted to do. Like ever since I was a kid, that's always been the goal.
That's wild. I wanted to, man, I don't know if I've ever said it. I used to watch martial art movies, and I would recreate fights with film. Like you would do the fight sequences, learning how to cheat shots in order to make the punches hit. So at middle school and high school, one of my projects was actually for that. I was showing a fight. It's like, and that's why I did martial arts. And I remember I wanted to be Jackie Chan. I wanted to be Bruce Lee. I wanted to be an action star. But also, flip side, I wanted to do camera work. I wanted to do art. I would learn Flash animation. Yes. And I never went to school for any of it. It was that self-taught. I'm just going to teach myself. I'm going to teach myself.
I never learned a damn thing at school for it. I never learned a thing.
That's that's the hardest part with film school is the network you get, and maybe if you need that piece of paper for the route you don't need now, because you're like, well, you did learn from like Jon Stewart, as you're saying, like, oh man, I learned a lot. But
how messed up is that though? That like. So when I interned at the Daily Show, it was Okay. I mean, like, basically they take people from, it's like, we'll take 2 kids from NYU. We'll take 2 kids from this writer. He has a school connection. And I mean, how else are you going to do it? There's thousands of people applying. I get it. But it's kind of, I mean, yeah, like I didn't learn a damn thing at NYU, but it just kind of, it's gatekeeping. It's messed up. It's like,
It's an $80,000 gatekeep.
Yes.
Nope. Mm-mm. Yeah. Oh, no, you can't.
because I went before they did not take me straight from high school. I applied and they were like, "Oh no, thank you." After
Do your military.
yes, exactly. No, it was a diversity hire for NYU. They were like, "Okay, you're different. We'll take you." Like,
Oh, he has PTSD now. Let him in.
that sounds interesting.
Tell me about this war thing. You're like, fuck, why? And in film school, it's the hardest part. I never recommend film school. College is very particular. I think if you're a doctor, engineer, certain like, hey, I need this. Yes. But a lot of the stuff, business school, I will never understand. That is the one I'm like, why would you go to school for that when you can teach yourself or surround yourself with others?
Surrounding, really. Yes, I learned business through doing business. I ran the business at Task and Purpose for years, and I always thought of myself. I would always say, I'm like, I'm the creative guy. I know how to make videos really well, but like, keep me out of the business side. And like, you can't do that. No. You can't. I ran the business there, and now I'm running the business.
You accidentally learn marketing.
Yes, accidentally is right.
Accidentally learn management. You accidentally learn
reluctantly.
Yes,
like
dude.
Kicking and screamingly, and then realizing that it's not actually. I'm like, okay, it's not all the terrible things that I thought it was. It's not like just spreadsheets. It doesn't have to just be that. And those parts of it, those are the parts that you can offload that stuff. Yeah.
Look, I'm helping by hiring people
because I'm fully retarded when it comes to spreadsheets and math. I'm so bad with math. I'm terrible. I failed out of every math class I ever did. God awful at it. And when I was younger, I had terrible grades, and they put me in all of the like, you're doing not well classes. They thought I was gonna be such a screw up. Like they really, really did.
That's why we get along so well. See, I dropped out. It was way easier.
that's what I should have done.
I was like, just get a GED.
Why won't you just like me? Tell me that I'm doing good. Give me the gold friggin' star. No, they were like, this kid is real, like principal's office every day, like trouble.
Sleeping in class and not focusing, bored, and no homework, bad with homework.
Terrible. And the funniest thing is like there was like I would do okay in history and in writing, and then god awful in like everything else, and really not even that well in those. But ironically, like now my whole job is like researching history and language and communicate. Like, it's just the way that it was presented to me a lot of times was dead inside.
Dude, when I had the History Channel TV show and listening to the History Channel marketing team.
Can we talk about this openly? Because I'll share.
I would love to. Because they were like, "Have you thought about this?" That is the most dumb shit.
I did. So you remember, Ronnie, Funker 530. Yep. So I did that show with I wasn't one of the hosts, with him and oh my god, who's that? Like a stunningly beautiful man that he did that show with. It was called Mysteries of something, and working with the History Channel I was like, my dad's gonna be proud of me finally. And then, oh my god, they just fed lines to me.
They know how to kill,
and they didn't
creativity.
The producer was on a laptop calling in. He was zooming in. Imagine we're doing like an interview right now, and I'm talking right off camera, and they have the laptop right to the right of the camera. I'm like, you're zooming in. You're in New York City. You're half an hour away. You can't come and like look me in the eye and ask these questions. So there's this delay, And then they just feeding me. They're like, okay, so now say that America lost the Vietnam War and it was awful. And I'm like, I don't know about all that. Like,
I can't say that.
I just don't, like, I don't want that clipped. Like, it's more complicated than that.
Yeah. You're really simplifying a very complex situation.
God, oh my God, working with them made me realize I'm like, I grew up with legacy media and I love it so much, but like, just put it out of its mercy. Just mercy kill it. Just like put it out of its misery.
Dude, old Yeller, that bitch.
Yes.
That thing needs to... Bro, that horse has 4 broken legs.
It's painful to watch it go out there to pasture. And it's like...
and they're like, no.
Ancient aliens. It's like, just kill it.
Time. It'll come back. And they're like, go. And the door opens. Seabiscuit has no legs. It's rolling. And they're like, shit. People are... You're like, oh, dude, it is. I don't think people know. That's why when I seen Star Wars, the second I seen Disney get involved, I was like, oh, that's fucked. That sheer is fucked.
We had a good 25 years.
Last of Us season 1, I was like, damn, wow, they actually did really good. And then this season dropped. And then, have you been watching it?
I played both video games. I beat both games and loved the first one. Second one, loved the gameplay, loved the graphics. But the story is, I played it. So my wife and I, we love like playing it and watching a good story together.
Yeah. Witcher 3.
Yeah, exactly. There's some games that my wife will like actually enjoy watching and playing together. That was one of the games. And she's sitting there and she's like, why is she so ripped? Why is this character like out of her gourd, just like on roids, ripped? And why is the only character we care about dead? And yeah, man, yeah, it's...
Have you watched the new season?
I couldn't because I know where it's going, because I played the whole video game and I'm like, the story for the second video game was awful.
So did you watch the first season?
I even liked, like, I don't get into like the whole woke or whatever. I don't care.
Dude, I like that episode.
I really enjoyed that.
I think that okay, cool. People, it is, and if you don't like it, that's fine too. But it's one
totally,
for me.
Totally.
I was a big. Yes, he was gay in the video game. They talk about that in the video game. There's hints of it with the magazine.
So for me, I'm like, woke only becomes bad, or like that idea concept only becomes bad when it's like it does a disservice to the story. Yes. And the second season was just like all railroading the story. Yes. So then it's, to me, I'm like this. Okay, actually, I watched the first part of the episode and I saw where she's beating the hell out of the Jack giant dude, and they throw in the one offhanded comment. They're like, he wasn't trying, but like you watch the whole thing and you're like, I cannot do this. It's my suspension of disbelief is already to its limits because we're in a zombie apocalypse world, and then you're gonna push it even further with just this like. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can only go so far.
Dude, okay. Well, you have the exact same, because season 1 did really good. And that's
loved it.
Like,
loved it.
Oh, and then
that's what I thought that maybe they'll make the second season good. Maybe they'll be willing to make the changes that they need to, but they weren't. They doubled down on like, let's make this stupid.
The director was like, well, I felt the
Neil
character should have. Yeah, dude, the director completely dropped the ball, and that is one of those moments where, as I always say, it's going back to the history thing, so we don't get derailed by that garbage. It is producers, executives, and them. They feel like they need to get their fingers in it and then just absolutely destroy it. And I got to watch that firsthand with my TV show, the season that never got aired versus the season that got aired. It was heartbreaking to watch when they didn't care. It was phenomenal, and we're thinking about releasing because I have all the first season, and I was like, wait, can I air? And I'm like back and forth, and like, yeah, we don't care. So I'm like,
oh, they don't mind?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, well, I have season 1 that's never been touched by history, and it was the director's actual vision of what he wanted, and it was fun. I was like, man, okay. Like, I watched a few of those episodes. I was like, yo, this is a lot of fun. What the hell? But then the second it was, oh, we had to do reshoots because the Vegas shooting and everything had to change. It's no longer a gun show. Now it's a military history restoration show. And now you have to do this, X, Y, and Z. And now we'll make these jokes. And dude, the director, Mike, would come in and be like, hey, they want you to say this line for this right here where like the motorcycle. And it's like something is stupid. And Mike's like, I'm sorry, Eli. Can you just say that you don't want to do this? I need a natural, like, what do you want? And it was me. I shit, this is actually asked. We were restoring a motorcycle, like an old Harley or something from World War II. And the gas tank is where a gas tank is. And they wanted me to read, oh, look at this, something, but the gas tank's here. Imagine if a bullet hit and it sparked and it went boom. There goes like, and that was a producer from history was like, that joke will kill. I read that. I was like, what, Mike, they think this is funny. He's like, yeah, what are you? No, I'm not reading that. That is a stupid fucking line. And that's what happened through the entire reshoots. It was just...
They wanted to change the whole tone. They wanted it to be like, it's going to be a comedy now. It's going to be fun. It's not going to be like... Some people got killed, so now this is like a funny...
It was so bad. It was good comedy with like some with guns, actual firearms, but then firearms were scary, so we can't do firearms anymore.
Yeah,
and you got to just see this complete twist of well,
and then you probably feel all the cooks in the kitchen where it's just like everyone's putting their they're like. I feel like if there was a line right there though, that would be just perfect.
I bet.
And there's probably an email chain somewhere where there's like thousands of notes and it's 40 producers and they're all like, you know what would make this really good? You know what would really make this good?
And even at your level with what you stepped away from, we both experienced that. You get to see, it's like now you were talking about, it's like, oh, it's so nice not having to worry about that shit. Like now I get to do what I want. Like I don't have to ask permission for dumb stuff, and then I'm not getting really dumb input that I can't say no to.
Yes, thankfully the whole time I was there, they never once asked me to say or do something different. I had full creative control. Although there was one time where, I started getting, when you grow, there's like growing pains, right? And you grow and you grow, and then you grow until you meet somebody else's face, basically. And when you bump into that, there's friction. And I've experienced that over and over again, the growing pains of the friction of, I think people can be uncomfortable with growth. Yeah. And so as I'm growing on social media, I'd make a lot of, let's say, rude jokes on there and stuff. And I would say things about when Iran got bombed, I was like, yeah, friggin' torch them. I'm just tweeting this and then I'm hearing back Chris needs to delete that tweet. He needs to delete that tweet. Oh, it sounds like Task and Purpose is calling for war in the Middle East. And I'm like, fire me. Finally, I just said, I will not delete that tweet. You can fire me.
Good.
I said, you can either fire me or I'm not deleting that tweet. Because I was at a point, I'm just I cannot exist in this world and compete in what is the most competitive media landscape and not be able to say something fully retarded.
Yeah.
I need to be able to say stupid things and I need to be able to be wrong. I need to be able to be wrong all of the time, and I need to be able to admit if I'm wrong, and all of the time I do. If I say something stupid or wrong, I have deleted tweets. It's not that I'm opposed. I'm a free speech absolutist. I need to be able to go up and say anything. No, it's just, you cannot come and tell me, especially when it's something that's pretty reasonable, and say, I got texts from people that work there. They're like, you need to delete this tweet. And I'm like, the only thing that matters to me is my freedom of speech and my ability to say what I think, even if it's dumb, because if I do that, then someone will let me know it's dumb. And then that's how this whole thing has it's the fundamental way that I've operated. So it was just very frustrating when leadership would come and go, and there's 7 different CEOs, and no one ever for 6 years ever asked me to delete something. And then suddenly at the very end of before I left, I started getting that. And I was like, I see where this is going.
You're like, I'm good.
I can't.
Good.
I would rather actually get fired or actually have this fail. Because I'm like, I saw where it was going. Like, if I can't, because I have a different worldview than a lot of people that work there. And like, God bless if they have that view of things, but like mine is different. And I don't want them to feel uncomfortable by what I was saying there. I want them to have people that are there saying the things that they're comfortable with. That's like how it should be. So yeah, that's kind of how it all shaked out.
Dude, I one of the stories, and I will always remember this. I had the same experience with history. It's when I realized, I was like, oh, this is, dear God, this is what I get to expect. We were filming a skit, and we were dressed. Me and I forget. It was like I had a scarf on. We were filming something, and it was like we're filming a skit, so I had to dress like this, and I had a scarf, and it was all did up, and they were like, "Eli, you look fabulous," and I go, "Fabulous." That was it. Story, and it was a story, not even a post. Story. Boom. I get a text like 2 hours later. You have to remove that story right now. Do you know what you just caused? The shitstorm. So I like get on the phone the next day. I'm like, yo, what's going on? And they're like, it's a meeting with the History Channel and the execs. I'm like, hey, what's going on? It's like, do you know how that looks? Well, I was like, hold up. First off, okay, so that was wrong because why? You were bashing on gays. So I was like, first off, when the fuck was I bashing on gays? Well, the accent, I was like, so during the show when I'm doing the Mexican accent, no one said a thing. Well, no, let's play this one out, white people. I knew, and they were like, they're like, dude, instantly they're like, we don't have a rebuttal to that. I was like, no, because I was doing that fucking accent and everyone was laughing, having a good time. So now I do it in a jesting manner, and it's just, I say fabulous, and now there's an issue. So tell me what the issue is.
They're acting like you said some slur or something.
Dude, yeah.
And that's what they came to me. They would text me and they're saying like, I have people, it's always people. They're like, people are messaging me and they're saying that this is a problem.
I know.
I'm like, who?
And it sucks because it puts that in the back of your head. And that's what I think is, you try to live a carefree, and you're never trying the intent. You're never like, oh, I'm going to intentionally do it. And you never will. Like, none of us are going to be like hateful. Everything's a joke, laughter. I think text me because you said
yes.
Awesome. And dude, I was so confused by that text. I forgot about this. This is actually.
Oh my God. I was so embarrassed. I was like, Eli thinks I'm a fucking idiot now. He thinks I'm so weird. Because I made a tweet about how my audience is like autistic for watching me.
Yes.
And like I've been very open about like obviously there's like some tism with me. I'm obsessed 100%. With one thing my whole life. Like I social interactions are a little tough for me sometimes. Like
eye contact, not my strong suit. All these other things.
Like I can do it, but it doesn't come natural like some other people. But like I texted that, I tweeted that, and friggin' I get texts like, you're gonna lose us clients. And then I start feeling bad. I'm like, wait, that's not my intention. That's not what I was going for. Like, am I a bad person? You start to second guess yourself.
Yes.
And I'm like, why am I? This is, first of all, someone who I don't even like trust their opinion really. They're telling me this. That'd be one thing if someone that like I really, this is like the corporate overlord saying this is not okay. It's not like your buddy texting you, hey man, you should take that down. It's like, yeah. So I remember I texted you. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry if like this offended you, because like I said, it's like not my intention,
dude. And I'm my side. I did not read that tweet at all yet, and I'm like, the fuck is he talking about?
You were like, did you say the N-word?
That sounds about right.
You're like, bro, what did you do?
I understand if you have to distance yourself. So probably. I was like, what the fuck did you do, dog?
And I was like, oh, no, man, no, not like that. No.
Like I said, autistic. I was like, yeah. What?
You're like, no, you're good. You're good, man. You have a pass. I was like, oh my God, that was eating me up. Because that's the type of person I am. Like, that's the type of person I am. I don't.
You dwell.
I dwell, and I don't want to offend people. And that's like those type of people, they prey on those people because they know that a lot of people don't want to offend people. And like, you'll kowtow to it. And you'll say, you know what? Because it doesn't take much to just delete it.
No.
You know, and that's what they're always betting is like, you'll just, you know, you don't want to make this worse, like just delete it. It's easy. It is easy. But every once in a while you have to get to a point where you're like, actually, like, just shoot me.
Dude, and it's a lot of words. It's again, the intent. What's the intent behind it? That's hilarious. And I swear, like, any of the people, even the autism charities I work for, and they know how we are, like with dude, I forget which one of the big ones, when they emailed me back after we donated, and they were dying from the autism test episode. We used to say retard 30 times in that, and this is their like execs emailing back, and they're like, holy shit, you guys just say what we all feel. We just are too afraid of what repercussions. It's like, yeah, it's just the intent. I mean, my kiddo, this is what he does. Like, he's autistic. Ryden's gonna have his little personality quirks, and they're amazing, and he is loved. None of my friends will ever they will die for that kid. And that's like, to get so bent out of shape over a word that is, well, it's like the tism touch, autism, like, oh, that dude's autistic as fuck. Hilarious statement when you say that. It's like, my autistic army. Like,
Yeah.
It's as it should be. And you shouldn't have that feeling of like, oh, did I do something wrong? Oh, Karen that doesn't have a family member or anyone, they've never even interacted with somebody probably with autism. They're like, oh, or those people, the worst people is now that autism thing is on that next level of like, I'm autistic.
Yeah.
And everyone's now to that, well, I'm autistic and I'm self-diagnosed.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck, dude. You're just a terrible human now. And I'm offended by this.
Yeah.
Now my intentions are not positive when I talk to you. Now I do not like you as a person. I'm not going to call you that. I'm going to call you, I'm going to just be very mean to you in a different way, because it is just be able to say what you want. Relax. Words, they're just words. And a lot of the times when you're talking to your homies, you're doing a twig. If you're saying autism, or man, that's fucking retarded. You're not, that person specifically, you're not at a special needs fucking Olympics yelling the word. Be like, bah!
Yeah, like imagine the type of demon you would have to be that person. Like, actually, I meant that offensively. Like,
yeah. I stand by it. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Well, never mind then. Well, man, this has been, man, if you're good, you want to do an after show?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Absolutely.
Exclusive. We'll talk about warfare, because we were talking about warfare. That's the one I want to do a breakdown, just when we'll do that for Pepperbox. We'll do it for Pepperbox. I like that. But dude, Cappy, that was fantastic. That was 2 hours. That was over 2 hours.
I had a blast. It went fast. I had a great time, man.
I hate that we didn't get
shooting
like
the shit with you.
Dude, it was like your military. Everything was just like, we just started talking about everything else. I'm like, oh man, well, shit. That was motivating as fuck for me. We got a deep dive on you, and then your motivations, and more importantly, I think a lot of people will take it as a motivator. It's probably one of my favorite things. Everyone watching, it's the DMs, it's the comments. It is, man, I was having a bad day, or man, I wasn't motivated, but holy shit, you know what? I'm motivated now. Look, this guy went through all of this, or this guy, he stepped away from a paying job, took a risk to start something new, and he did it not knowing the outcome, but in his head, he's like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to remove that safety net. and I have to make this work, especially when you do. Can we say you have a kid on the way or?
Oh, totally. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I have a little girl on the way.
Oh,
and that's a huge part of the reason why I did this. Because as I was saying before, it was like 2 videos a week, which is I knew I would have no weekends and I would have no, my ability to be a father would be very detrimental. I wouldn't be able to be the father I want to be. And like, I love my dad, great dad. When my parents split, I didn't get to see him that often. And I think it can have an impact, not like being, if your father's not there when you're very young all the time, he's there the weekends for sure. But like, the one thing, like I need to be there for my child. And I knew at Task and Purpose I wasn't going to be able to be.
Dude. I said it on, I think, what episode? Maybe the rich one. I don't know. I talked about that where it was like my one thing where I always had the most regret was right in when it was like the diagnosis and everything, and then watching him progress. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to build an empire, not only for me, but I have to build a whole empire. So he is taken care of for 70 to 80 years. So
yes.
That's good. And that really lit that fire under my ass of, okay, well, and it sucks because I had to I always say it's like I had to step away from being a dad all the time to like building this so he could flourish. And now I get more time with him. I still work way too much, but I'm at that. But he is taking care of.
How old were you when you had him?
You
would have been about what?
25.
Like 25?
26, 27, I think. And
so I wish now looking back, like I really did spend my 20s just getting fucked up. So I'm like, I wish I had kids when I was younger. And like, I feel it kind of,
it's a trade-off.
I'm 35 and having a kid, and like I'll be able to maybe be there more now, but like I'll there's downsides to not having kids sooner, and like having kids in your 20s, it's that time when you're hustling and you gotta like be out there, you gotta be working the longer hours. It's like the trade-offs, right? Mm-hmm. Of the different times of having.
Like, it can light that fire, and that's what Ryden, I'm always so thankful, is he was the motivating factor of when I really just I was like, I'm going 100% in this because little man needs to be taken care of no matter what. So I have to build I have to build something that will last for him if he doesn't have to work. Now it's really cool watching his fan base or audience, and being able to see his love for video, making stuff, creation, and now we get to turn that into what he wants to do. And it just sucks. It's like, oh, I sacrificed time with him in order to make that possible. And thankfully, I think he understands that. And we always talk about that. It's like, I'll always be apologetic. I'm like, hey, sorry, just now I'm way more. I've still always been there for him, whatever he needs, FaceTime every day or hanging out, whatever it is. It's like, I talk to my son every day, but I couldn't be there more. But now it's like, kiddo's good. Like, families are good. I did my job. It's just the one regret I will always have. It's like, well, I wish I had more time. So you're doing the right thing is what I'm getting to. Is like, you're doing the right thing. Where now you're about to have this kiddo and you're going to give like fully everything. You're like, okay, did this. What's up? We get weekends together. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's my hope, is that it'll have more freedom, that I'll be able to give a better life to my child. That was really what I talked to my wife about. I'm like, we have an opportunity, we have a chance that we can take to like give our kid the life that we want to. And it's a risk, but
paid off.
Yeah.
It paid off. And now you're going to have the same problem I have where they're spoiled motherfuckers and you have to manage. It's like, fuck, you have no hardships.
Yes. I would have to introduce hardships.
Send them to Ukraine.
Yes. Yes. Just send them off.
Make that.
Learn. This is the field trip.
Cappy, where do we find you at, my good friend?
At Cappy Army on all of the things, on Instagram, Twitter, and on the YouTubes.
Yo, look at that camera.
Yes, Instagram, Twitter, Cappy Army. And you get the merch that we just did with Bunker Branding now that we're very excited about.
Dude, total Eli Manation. I don't even know what that means.
It's for you. This is for you.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Go to Pepperbox if you want to watch the after show.
As we're getting closer and closer to where we're going, I'm seeing explosions off in the tree line. So we go down into the basement and I spend the whole night with them, and I'm hearing and feeling the Russian artillery. He turns to me, he's like, if it gets any closer, hit the ground. And I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Love you.